Hi, everyone. Welcome to High Heels to Happy Feels. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Natalie.
And this week we're going to be talking a little bit about spiritual, using spirituality and dealing with stress. So, our topics the last few weeks, we've been really honed in on everything around the holidays and different ways that you can kind of work through some of the different things during the holidays. And we thought, stress is kind of a big one for everyone. So we wanted to kick that off by talking a little bit about how you can incorporate spirituality and maybe some tips and tricks on what you can do. So thinking about your spiritual practices, the beliefs and principles, things that support you to enhance your emotional and physical well-being, right? So Nat, I'm going to just hand it off to you right away. What are a couple of good things that we can do if we're looking at some spiritual and emotional healing?
Yeah, so this time of the year is so stressful. Like even today, I had a party at one of my girlfriend's house. She was having a white elephant party, and it was amazing, and we had a wonderful time. But you always work yourself up into, am I bringing the right thing? What are the expectations? Who else is going to be there? What kind of conversations am I going to have? And you can really spin out of control, even in a small party where she was really upfront, like no expectations. We're all just going to kick back and relax. Um, so I definitely used some of these things as I was going to that party today, and I had an amazing time. She was an amazing host, and the group was really a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
And
I
I
haven't
ended up with a
asked
cool
you.
gift. What's
Nice.
that?
I hadn't even asked you how the white elephant was, so that's good.
Yeah, it was really fun. We had a good time.
Yay.
Um, and then, I'm like, I have a podcast. So now I'm going to stress out and I got to go get my work done. Anyway,
Right? Gotta go, gotta go. Yeah.
gotta go. Anyway, the stress of the holidays, one of my favorite tools is the breathing techniques because when okay, first of all, when you're thinking about breathing technique, you've stopped and you're thinking about it. So whatever else craziness, and we say squirrels all the time, whatever boulders, squirrels, pebbles, things you got going on in your mind, and you're so busy and you've got to do so many things. When you actually stop to think about a breathing technique, it kind of quiets your mind naturally. So, and I know there's going to be other tools that are going to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite breathing technique is the 4-7-8. And so
Yeah.
that's breathing in for 4, holding it for 7, and then out for 8. And it's parasympathetic nervous system, I think is what it was called. I've been doing this. I did the 21-day journey, which is free to our paying members. And I took it on as part of that a few months back, and it's really been good to bring my stress levels down. So, and it was something my doctor wanted me to watch was my stress levels. So beyond that, there's so many other ones like the box technique or just breathing deep, actually, breathing in
Mm-hmm.
with your diaphragm and
Yes.
really expanding. So there's so many available online that you can look and find one that makes you feel good.
Uh-huh.
But literally it's the stopping and saying, I need to breathe right now really is what helps with the stress as well. So what do you think? What's one of your techniques?
Uh, I I mean, just to kind of echo your breath work, it's funny today. So we had massages today, long overdue
Mhm.
for a little self-care.
Nice. And it was
Well,
good.
yeah, it was great. It was one of my lunar intentions was relationships, right? That was my intention and relationships with myself and relationships with my partner. And it, just because again, this is all based on stress, right? It's a busy, 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 busy time of year. And those
Hmm.
massages were great, but it's so funny because I caught myself doing your breath work. When he'd be like, okay, long breath in, I'm cracking up. I'm like, here we go. I'm going to count. And I'd end up holding it longer than he'd think or would let it out longer than he thought. And I thought, you're not
Right.
kidding, dude. That or I have really long beats. I'm not really sure which, but I do love that, the breath work. Um, I think for me, another big one is meditation. So, but it incorporates breath work, right? So that is being able to find, and I think, we've talked about this on previous podcasts.
Mhm.
It's not just taking a 30-minute and you have to block your day and you have to wind down first and get in the mood and do this. You don't. It can be a 5 minutes, even sitting at your desk, tuning out. Put your ear pods in and close your eyes and, you know, take a breath and just really sitting there and focusing on that meditation and letting yourself sink into that space can just do so much to rejuvenate you and really just kind of get your focus going again.
Yeah, that's a great call out there. The one tool reminds me of the Sage method, the tool, the 5 minute defocus meditation, I think it was,
Yeah.
where you just defocus and you let the world kind of fall away. And I've done that multiple times at my desk when I'm having a really stressful day. So not only good for the holidays when expectations upon expectations are hitting you and year end is, I mean, there's so much.
Right.
Just be able to take 5 minutes, even if you only take two, but to focus and let everything else, set a little timer on your phone or on your laptop or whatever, and just fall away with it.
Yes. Yes. And really, really own it. When you're falling out, fall out. Let the
Right.
alarm get you back. I mean, don't be sitting there constantly thinking, is my 5 minutes up? Is my 5 minutes up? It's not a race. It's really just, okay, set the timer and let it go. When you set the timer when you go to sleep at night, and you don't sit there and stress about, will I wake up in the morning, with the timer. It's let it go. So yeah, that's a great.
You know me. I'm the one with the one eye open going, is my timer coming?
Right, right. I woke up early
I
this
don't want to, I
morning.
don't want to
So
hear the alarm. The alarm is alarming. I know.
I know. I woke up with all these thoughts last night, just sidebar, because squirrel is what we do. But I was thinking about the Lunar Journal and getting that out for everybody to be using next year for everything to write. And it
Right.
was like, oh my gosh, I haven't created that ad yet. I need to get up. I need to get up. I need to get up. So 2 hours before the alarm went off, which was great. But
Right.
yeah,
I'm totally with, yeah, I do that a lot.
yep.
But
Squirrels.
yeah, totally.
I think um, another one is just actual prayer. And that can be, or sitting in gratitudes, right? However that looks for you, but spending that time giving affirmations, praying for others. It's not only sharing kindness, it's sharing kindness for yourself. You're talking to whoever your higher power is and just being in that moment and reflecting on that and having a positive message. And again, that could be, construed as part of meditation. It could be part of your breathing work because all of those things can kind of be congruent. But I think that's another little tool that you can use.
That's that you bring it up is I talk to my spirit guides a lot. Like when I'm driving, if
Hmm.
if something really starts stressing me out, I'm like, why is it stressing me out? And so then I just start talking to my spirit guides. And they don't often talk back. I mean, I might see images or something come up that's related to my day,
Yeah.
but it's the fact that I'm talking and then I'm grateful that they're there and I thank them for my day and it just kind of brings me back to reality. So that could happen like you said when I'm in meditation or when I'm doing mini rituals or any time in the day I might talk to my spirit guides, but at a
Yeah.
stress point
Hmm.
it's like when someone cuts you off.
Uh,
It's like, oh, Arturo, what the hell just happened?
uh-huh. What are we
But
doing
but
here?
immediately that brings my temperature back down.
Yes, exactly. Just kind of that grounding moment, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's always better if like you can set aside the time to sit down and be calm and de-stress yourself. But oftentimes, like we live in a society that's go, 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 go. And
Hmm.
well, you and I work in two jobs. So we
I'll
tend
do
to
it too.
live on the high cortisol level.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't love that term together, but yeah, we do.
Well, that's what they keep telling me. They're like, your cortisol's going up. I'm like, yeah, I work at two companies. Thank you.
Right? Thanks. I got two full-time jobs. What do you do? Yay! No. And a
Thankfully, I
family.
love them both, or it would be so much worse.
Oh, thank God, right? I know. We love our jobs. I'm so grateful. And that's another thing, right? Is you're sitting there and doing these prayers and talking to your spirit guides and anything else. It's just sitting in that gratitude. Sometimes I'll be driving and it's just, thanks for the lights all turning green. Thank you. Thank you, Great Spirit. I love this. Yay!
Right.
Thank you for no lines and checking out at grocery stores during the holidays or shopping. Thank you for fresh pass delivery from Safeway. Yeah, that's a huge one. So yeah, I'm
Yeah, I use the mantra, everything always works out for me
yes,
all the flippin' time. Like
all the
that's my
time,
favorite thing to say.
all day long, twice on Sunday. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And you know what? I started use I don't even know. I've been saying that forever. But the more I say it, the more like in the flow my life seems to be. So
Mhm.
just like, yeah, everything just works out for me. This
Yep,
is
yep. I'm charmed. I'm charmed.
I am,
Me,
absolutely.
lucky me. Yay me. Woo! I know. And then it
Right?
just keeps going from there. Yeah, yeah.
Another really good tool is anything physical. Like
Mhm.
even when we're talking like psychic development or intuitive development, shaking just gets your body flowing, like yoga or stretching or walking meditation or any time where you're just taking it back for yourself and reconnecting with your body
Yeah.
is amazing. The only downfall to that is, especially like our schedules, under stress, it's really hard to get those things in. So I think you had just mentioned, even if you can take 2 to 5 minutes, like if you're standing at the end of your bed after you get your jammies on, then maybe throw in a yoga pose. Really, I don't,
Exactly. A little downward dog, or, I mean, yes, absolutely, because it's stretching and it's going to do something for you that is good for your body and just keep that motion going.
yeah,
Yeah. Using the treadmill while you're on a meeting at work, little thing.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
I hid my treadmill because, of course, guests staying here, but now that everybody's kind of gone back into the wind and I'm not going to have additional guests for Christmas or Yule, I got to get my treadmill back out and start. It's easy to fall out of a good practice.
Uh-huh.
Out of sight, out of mind, I guess is what I'm trying to
Oh, of
say.
course, of course. My workout room, as you know, is upstairs on the other side of the
The other
house.
side of the house. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And yet yesterday I was like, I know that during this call, and I put my earbuds in, and I knew that I didn't have to be looking at a screen or anything, and so I jumped on my rowing machine.
Nice. Good for
I
you.
know, I know. And then I was like, we're still on the call, and I'm still not having to say much. So I did my weights at the same time. I thought, yeah, I feel good. Yeah,
But
haven't
you gave yourself permission to do that.
exactly, exactly. It was saying because self-care, I mean, ultimately what it boils down to is it is so important that we each take care of ourselves, or how can we be there to support anybody else? And it's not
Yeah.
about, everybody having to support everybody else. That's not your job, but it is being able to be present in those moments. And you can't do that if you are not taking care of yourself in these capacities. So
Yeah.
stress will kill you. I mean, it just will. What do you heart attacks, man? That's
Yeah.
just yes, there's genetics and so on, but man, people will stress themselves right into heart attacks and everything else. So it's crazy,
Absolutely true.
crazy. I think another really good one, since you brought up the yoga, is energy healing. So
Mm.
things that are on top of that, but maybe not as physical, Reiki, for example. I did because I do distant Reiki as a Reiki master, and it's a great tool, and it's a great way to connect with people, and to have that feeling of having your chakras balanced, and to if you're practicing or studying for Reiki, to get your first or second or third attunement, and what that all, it's just so balancing for your soul and will ground you all day long, right? So that's just something that's another great way to relieve stress. um, Acupuncture is another great one. So now that does require, a little more physical contact, but it's still very Eastern medicine versus what we consider Western. And so that's another really good tool that you can use when you're doing some of that really great body work for relieving stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, and those are things you have to schedule. So you have to like compile it into where you can fit it, but totally
You
good
do.
for you.
You do.
Yeah, you do. But even if you can't get to those, because those are very mindful, there's other mindful practices like the breathing work we talked about,
Yeah.
or doing meditation, a body scan, or even like just sitting and feeling, tasting, hearing, touching, like going through your five senses. So if you can
Mhm.
just stop and close, because like the 2 minute thing we mentioned, defocusing,
Yeah.
if you need something to focus on, another really good one would be focus on your five senses. So just stop and hold yourself in space and
I love that.
really feel your five senses and listen to them. So I
Yeah.
think that would be a really good one too.
No, and that's a great idea because then sometimes, I mean, you're going to be so focused on that, you don't realize that you've let the stress go because you're
Right.
so focused on what am I seeing and what am I looking at or what do I taste right now? And next thing you know, whatever you were thinking about that was bugging you is history. It'll rear its ugly head and when you let it, but that's a great tool.
It is. And so that brings us to another tool though, which is journaling. So there's journaling and reflection. So there's like so much we've talked about that we could journal on. But if we were talking about the five senses, what did you see, feel, hear, taste? So
Oh
those
yeah.
might be things that come in for you. Maybe they're dictionary items, maybe they're just messages for you, maybe there's, things like that. But then there's also what does that bring up for you and that type of journaling. And then on top of like the practices that you've said, the acupuncture and
Mhm.
Reiki and those type of things. So like a reflective journaling on that probably as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And
would
journaling,
seem,
great. I mean, it just is
yeah.
for everything because you write down whether it's just a journal like, hey, dear diary, dear God, dear spirit, or whether you're just taking and again, back to that journal that I was talking about earlier, but we go through and writing down our gratitudes, what we're going to accomplish in the
Mhm.
morning, in the evening, our manifestation, pulling one of whether it's a card or using pendulum or whatever it might be. But that becomes a whole other level of journaling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many ways to journal.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. So yeah,
tons.
just start writing everything down. It'll make you feel
And if
better.
you're at a loss for words on what do I journal on today? I don't have anything. Go out to social media and write, give me journal prompts for today. And you'll be horrified and don't let yourself go down the social media rabbit hole because you're there to journal, but um, you're going to get some hits. I mean, the fact is there's just so much out there to give you just little prompts and little nudges on ways to get started in your journaling.
Yeah. If you're going to go out looking for journal prompts, I would highly suggest like having an idea about what you want to journal on, like journal on my
Exactly.
recent massage, because then
Right?
it's going to, because
And
there are thousands and thousands,
millions. Yeah.
probably,
Yeah, I would
probably.
say, I mean, because I think about it, we've got a lot that you and I use for our lunar
Hmm.
that we've got them for the Sabbats that we include in there. And it's just, those become their own, it's the waning moon, it's waxing moon. Where are we? Where is the moon at that time? Is it at quarter? Are we getting close to full? Are we in a disseminating moon? It's all those
And
different.
what zodiac is it in?
And what
And
zodiac is it in? And do we have anything that's retrograde? Do we have, is there any big shifts going on right now? I mean,
or if I want to hear about my love life or what things might be coming, where is that? What house is that in? Where's Venus in the sky? Where's like there's
exactly,
so many
exactly.
things that you can just keep digging in on.
And next thing you know, you're down, like I said rabbit hole, but that's just talking about with astrology and getting some journal prompts. So now, you know,
Right. Exponentially expand that to things in your life, and
oh,
there's so much available for
there
sure.
is so much available, so much. Um, and I think it leads to kind of the another one I was thinking about for that physical is your rituals that
Mm.
we get into, right? So
Yep.
there, yeah, I mean, we're talking about the Sabbats and with Yule coming up, there's obviously rituals around that. It is very old, predates Christianity in that respect, but Christianity has very similar rituals that we all share. Growing up Christian, we recognize that very clearly. But those are ritual based, and it's getting into the decorating. How does
Mhm.
that make you feel, right? Does it stress you out? Yeah, I mean, I get that. There's a certain level of stress. There's people coming. I got to hurry up and decorate. But how do you feel when you're doing it and you're involved in that process and putting out all the Christmas decorations and hanging wreaths and putting ornaments on trees and lighting candles for Hanukkah? How do you feel about all these different things when you're involved in those processes? And that creates such joy. and such a
Yeah.
level of stress relief, in my opinion. Even smelling those candles that smell like spruce trees and fir trees and everything. And I
I
live,
love those candles. I would have them out all year, except, yeah.
I do, and I don't care. I even my oil on my
Yeah.
desk smells like that. It's like balsam fir or something like that. And I live by pine trees and lodgepole and
Yep, me
larch,
too.
and yeah, and so do you. I mean, it's not like we're in states that are desert.
Yeah, that are not tree friendly.
No, Colorado and Montana kind of have some trees. So,
Yeah, I
but
do.
at the same time, that's one of those things I love doing at the holidays. The smell of things baking. That's very ritualistic. Excuse me, making cookies with the kids. If kids, grandkids, creating that perfect gingerbread house. Oh, I mean, one of my favorite rituals with Natalie's boys growing up was hiding that stupid elf on a shelf thing. I loved that. That was my favorite.
You mean when the elf moved?
Yeah, I
When we had to
loved
find the
it.
elf in the morning? Yeah, that
I
was a lot of
loved that
fun.
elf. I loved it. I had
You know what? For like growing up crazily and probably until a couple years ago, I hate Christmas shopping. I hate going to the mall. I hate it's just packed and everywhere you go, there's a line and you're pressed for time and you know that you but a couple years ago, I was like, just relax, calm down, and try to take in this moment. This is part of your life, it's part of your experience. And it was actually great to watch people's smile on their face and how friendly people really are when you're not looking down and so focused on that scarf I've got to get or
right.
that Pandora item that's going to go out of. I mean, once you just sit back and experience the community, it's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah,
It's just getting there and finding a parking spot that kind of sucks.
right. Well, there's that. I mean,
Everything always works out for me.
right, exactly. Then you're back to that. I'm charmed. I'm charmed. But it's you think about there's certain time. It depends on your mood when you walk in, and you have to be
True.
reflective in how you change your attitude, because you can walk into that line at Starbucks and go, ugh, ugh, there's another line, or you can use that as an opportunity to look around, listen to the Christmas music, talk to the person in front of you, have some.
Give people your smile.
You smile. Smiles are contagious. It is the one
Hmm.
thing that even the angriest person in the world does not know how to combat. You smile at somebody who's just really having a rough day, and that'll change their world. So, yeah, I it's a great one, Nat.
Yeah. Well, and it only took until I was in my late 40s to figure out to set back and maybe change my perspective
Uh-huh.
because it
Well,
doesn't need to ruin your day.
it
You do it. And
doesn't.
plus it's the art of giving, which is I love giving.
I do too. I
So
do too. That's a problem because
which is
yeah,
why we're not doing adult gifts this year.
right? We say
Because we
that
have
every year and
problems.
then gifts show up. So yeah, it's hard, but it's yeah,
Hmm.
because you love seeing the joy on other people's face. And
Right.
that's what it should be about, not the stress that went into buying it, not thinking about did
Right.
I get the right size, not thinking about oh gosh, now we got to take all these decorations down. It should be in that moment just saying, this is beautiful. And I'm so grateful that we have ABC. Or I'm so grateful I was able to buy these gifts. I'm so grateful I'm able to spend time with family. There's so many people who would trade so much for the things that we
Right.
take for granted.
Right. Well,
So,
and I like that our family's kind of transitioned into gift giving all year. Like if I run across something like
yeah,
if I
yeah,
run across something, I might hold it till your birthday, but we're not like forced to go out and buy something. Like I'll
no,
run across stuff all year that's great for dad, that's great for mom, that's great for stuff.
yeah,
And I'll pick them up at that time and I might hold it until your birthday.
yeah,
But it's
not
kind of
me.
an all year no stress type
Yeah,
of
exactly, yeah. Because it's just, and we're bad because we're always like, oh, I got you this. And next thing you know, we're shipping it off, right? And
right. It rarely waits until birthdays or Christmas time.
rarely, yeah. But it
But
is,
that's another thing.
but it's so amazing to just know, just to be
Yeah.
able to find that and kind of share that with people. Yeah, that's an amazing one.
So I think even outside of like all of the things we talked about is incorporating these things.
Yeah,
So like okay, like I have my we've talked about my 21-day journey and
yep,
I very much have my daily program that I do every day. I don't miss it. Like it's just how I operate.
Yep.
So I touch the floor, I say my initiated word, my action word, and I write my gratitudes and I do dream journaling if something came up. And then I'm on with my day,
Yep.
which I think is a really valuable thing to try to add little things into your day. Do you have things in your day that you are ritualistic about?
Oh yeah, all day long. Um, yes, from getting up in the morning to, grounding, clear, protect when your feet hit the floor and saying, we're open, giving it to the universe. Open, immersive spirit is here and we're here to help whoever needs our help or to learn from whoever we're supposed to learn from, right? That's like
Right.
every morning, it goes without saying. And there, yeah, when I'm in my office, certain lights, my crystals have to be on. My lamps, like the selenite and the Himalayan salt. Those lights have to be on when I'm in this space. There's got to be generally it's got to be incense or a candle burning, and that's just because this is my space. But first thing in the morning, it's all about my daily journal. Again, back to the journal, but it's writing in there and writing down my gratitudes, writing what I'm going to get done that morning as I'm thinking about it, which generally just says coffee, journal, um, and spend time doing ABC, right? Check my task
Right.
list, do this, do that, whatever. But I write it. And then in the evening, I go through and I look at that again and make sure, hey, did I get all the little habits checked off that I wanted to do? Then I forgive myself if I didn't and say, cool, tomorrow. And
Right. But it gives you kind of a sense of peace or, in that structure.
yeah, it's yes, yes.
Because I am a task person. I like to check stuff off. And
I'm
so when
a
I'm living
yes.
in my structure, I feel like, yay, me.
Yeah. If I got a good list going, I'm a
Right.
happy camper. And you and I, that's you and probably growing up together. And mom and dad are not like that, so I'm not really sure where we get it. I know they
Oh,
each
no,
have
I
lists,
agree.
but not list within list and then sub list. And then they've got everything in OneNote and then they've got everything in Drive and then they've got all this in cloud. We're neurotic about it, but we love it and we own it. That's and we add to that all day long. And we'll
Oh,
reach
yeah.
out to each other. That's another one of our basically things that you do all day is, and every night before we go to bed, it's like, love you. I mean, we don't,
Right.
we don't not do that. And so yeah. And those are very, very stress relieving because it's connection. Again, it's
Mhm.
about connecting with somebody else. In this case, my best friend and my sister. That works out great. But it's connecting and it's feeling that you've done something in the morning that you set out to do every morning, and you've done something in the evening you set out to do every evening.
So let's talk about creating a routine
Yeah,
or rituals. Um, so you were talking about starting out your day, what would you have people think about as an option or as a good addition to starting out their day?
as kind of a takeaway.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I, I think one of the biggest ones is gratitudes, if you're not already, right? I know
Yeah.
most of our audience would be the folks that do practice gratitudes, but not everybody. Or sometimes we forget to say them every day. And doing that first thing in the morning is mind blowing because you're automatically starting your day with kindness and with gratitude. And by just saying thank you for the things. We've talked about this before, but I will legitimately write about being grateful there's a roof over my head, being grateful I'm employed,
Mhm.
being grateful for immersive spirit, being grateful for my family. I mean, it can be that general. It does
Right.
not have to be I'm grateful for that, ABC. It's I'm grateful. I have literally written some days I'm grateful for coffee because that morning I'm grateful for a warm cup of coffee. And yeah, I think that one's really imperative. How about you? That would be my biggest one, I think.
So for the morning, yeah, I have my own little ritual. So I think whatever you can add in the morning that's going to start your day off,
Yeah.
giving you the most optimistic view that you can get on it. Because, what is the saying? Whichever way your lips go, your day goes.
Oh
Like
yeah.
something. I know there's a quote for that, and I should be more appropriate and go look it up, but I'm not going to.
Yep. Yep.
So anything that is going to make you smile inside. And you're right. Gratitudes don't have to be, and they don't have to be different every day.
No, they can be the same.
Yeah. You can be grateful for the same thing every day.
Absolutely. It's just a matter of just putting it out there. And maybe you don't want to write in journal. Say it out loud.
Right? Yeah. You don't have to write it down. Like,
No.
that's nobody's rule. There's no orthodox thing that anything is going to happen to you if you don't write it down.
Right. It does not have to be something where you sit down, pen to paper, and have this whole written thing. It could be, I mean, you could be in your bathroom getting ready and you close your eyes for 30 seconds and say, I'm really grateful I have a job to go to. I'm really grateful that I had a great shower and I'm really grateful that I have my medicine that I need. Whatever.
Right. I'm really grateful when the furnace kicks on.
Yay! Right? I'm really grateful the fireplace kicks on in the
I'm
morning.
like, yay,
Yay!
grateful for heat. Thank you.
Yes, yes. But those are all the kind of things that it's just, yeah, gratitude. But I agree, and I was thinking about something that you said. Oh, with adding. So adding one thing, but maybe you're doing too much. Maybe there's
Uh-huh.
something you need to let go of. Maybe you're forcing yourself to do something in the morning that you don't love, that doesn't bring you joy. Um, working out. Maybe it doesn't bring you joy in the morning and it doesn't give you the push all day that you think you need. Try shifting it to the evening. See what a difference that
Right.
makes, right? Alter your pattern if that's what it requires to,
Yeah.
because you should wake up every morning and not wake up every morning. Let me take that back because I don't wake up with joy in the morning. But once my feet are on the floor and I'm saying my gratitudes and doing those things, then there's joy. And that's
Mhm.
the easiest way to approach your day.
I think that kind of goes hand in hand with your sleep hygiene too.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
Like make your bedroom your space in which you sleep as relaxing as you can be. I mean, I know, and I'm guilty of it too, where I'm doom scrolling, not necessarily through social media, but it's what does my calendar day look like tomorrow? And then I'm starting to plan and think, and then I have to get up and write what I'm thinking about because I don't want to lose that. I mean, just try to have an environment where when you go to bed, you are fully ready to relax and fall asleep.
Oh, it's so funny you say that because that's one ritual I forgot about, but you get some of the after effect of that. I go to bed and I will turn on one of the meditation channels, right? For music and throw it on Alexa. Um, and then I use Zen Color. It's an app on my iPad. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that interference. And then with that little Zen color, it's like a paint by numbers in an app. Glorious.
Which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But that's part of your routine. That like brings
It
you
it
to
is
your
part of my
space.
routine. It's just because I'm doing it until I'm almost so tired. I didn't even finish last night's because I was like, nope, I'm beat. I can't keep trying to figure out where this done. And I was out. But
Right.
that is part of my routine. And the dogs join me and they hear the music and they're like, oh, okay. And Shane normally will come up later, Sorry, babe. Said name. It's one of those things that it's just that's part of it. I calm down. And then
Mhm.
sometimes there's certain pictures that oh, check this one out. I found this one for you, Natalie. I sent mom one last night or 2 nights ago. And yeah, it's
Yeah. I got one at like 11:30. What is she doing up?
right, right.
Go to bed.
And it was a really cool lighthouse with the Aurora Borealis.
It
Yeah,
was. I didn't see it until the morning though because
you
I
were out.
actually fell asleep.
Sorry.
No,
Yes,
it's all good.
that's another thing. If you're not doing it, folks, put your phone in do not disturb mode at bedtime. Put it in
For
sleep
real.
mode. I have mine for my family is my favorites that can contact me because in case there's an emergency.
Yeah.
Other than that, there isn't a soul that gets through from 9:30 in the evening until 7 a.m. the next morning. It just doesn't happen. So
Yep.
yeah, it
Prioritize yourself and your time, especially,
absolutely.
a lot of us who work remotely or could do things at home, we often carry our work. We work a lot of hours.
Yeah,
And so you need to prioritize that time for yourself because
you do.
work-life balance is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. And if you feel like, well, I have to just do this one more thing, the client just needs the client, listen to yourself.
Hmm.
Listen to yourself because what do you need? What do you need? Because what's adding to your stress is what somebody else needs. So you have to ask yourself, what do you need? And set that. You've got to set up if you're grounding, clearing, and protecting your space for energy, you need to ground, clear, and protect from the physical. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's just I when I do mine in the morning, I include any passive aggressive statements. I include anything negative that people are going to dish my way. That's all part of my grounding. And that time, that's my time. That's my sleep time. I don't want my phone beeping for any reason unless it's a real emergency that somebody that I love and care about is trying to reach me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really good point. And so we're bringing up work,
Mhm.
and there are tricks that you can do, um, especially like transition rituals. So I know we use the word ritual a lot, but ritual just means a thing that you're going to repeat that's going to become part of your everyday.
Yeah.
And transition rituals, like Stephanie was just describing, is they're just really important because then your mindset also follows with your ritual. If you're setting your time to be done with work, then you're done with work. So have some type of ritual that draws that line for you so you can be intentional about how you're living.
Yep. If you work from home, you close that laptop or that, or
Close the door if you have an office.
you have a separate office, walk
Yeah.
away from it, right? Get up and leave that space. It's time to say goodnight. Um, if you are sharing everything in one spot, take that, find a way to carve it out so that you aren't looking at it again and make yourself a priority. I agree. That's important though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I would say at least weekly reflect on your week just to see how your week went and make adjustments that you need to in your definition of your rituals, like how you're waking up, how you're going to bed, when you're transitioning from work, and what little things, what time have you taken for yourself, and also do some self care. And I don't know, I don't like if you're going to cut your toenails every Saturday.
Right.
It's time for you. Like your kids aren't in your in your face, your animals aren't in your face. It's just
Exactly.
time for you to cut your toenails. I mean, I know
Exactly.
that's a weird example.
Unusual, but I was thinking of painting my nails, so we're on the same plane
Oh,
apparently.
that's why.
Go for it. Yeah, yeah,
Of
yeah. Of
course.
course. Yeah. We're thinking about nails, huh? Weird. Yeah,
Right.
I think that's a really valid point because you want to remove anything that really shouldn't be in there and
Hmm.
add whatever maybe can help improve how your day flows and how that looks
Yeah.
for you. 'Cause everyone's different. For some people, one ritual in the morning and they're just happy clams all day long. Other people might take a few extra steps, right? What do I need to include in this to really get my day jump started?
Yeah.
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 And I probably ought to do one of those assessments and maybe think about all the crap I do when I get up.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm scared that mine would just honestly turn into another giant list, and then I'd be like, "Oh, but I should be, and I should be," and then I'd stress
Oh, wait, I can
about
fit
what
in
I'm
this
not
little
getting
piece.
accomplished. I'm like, "Nope, I got it down. I'm just gonna let it go for
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm
now."
at the point where I do like jumping jacks while I'm brushing my, just leg jumping jacks while I'm
Uh-huh.
brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
And I do squats while I'm drying my hair.
Uh-huh. Yep. Get them in where you can while the dogs are outside. I'll stand at the
Oh.
back door and do squats. I'm with you. I'll do
But,
that.
but see, but those are the things that I think we're trying to highlight is the little things that it doesn't
You
take
can
you 5 seconds to just do it. Just
Yeah,
do
that you
it,
can just accomplish and
right?
get done. Yeah, I mean, if it's weights and you want to work, just keep yourself toned. Put a couple of free weights or a couple of, old milk jugs filled with water or something by your desk.
I have a dumbbell right by my desk.
Yep.
And just in case, like, yeah. So
Yep.
anyway,
Yeah.
so what do you think about monthly routines?
I like monthly. I mean, I do weekly to some degree.
Me too.
It's only because that's written in our journals, right? That's how we
Right.
wrote them, and put them out there.
We have monthly stuff too.
But we do have monthly. And like the
Yeah.
wheel of life, I'll go through and do that reflection. And what can I adjust for finances? What can I adjust career wise? What can I adjust? And I look at kind of my happiness factor, where everything sits and where it's stressing me. And because ultimately, happiness and stress are hand in hand. If you're stressed out, you're not happy. If you're happy, you're not stressed. So it's one of those that it's going through and doing that self evaluation.
Hmm.
where there could be room for improvement. And when I see the areas that have room for improvement, then I might delve into, depends on what the area is, but sometimes it's a little shadow work to really reflect on that and see what do I need to be looking at, and is it me or is it my environment? Um, and if it's something that's kind of a minor tweak, it's like, okay, what can I adjust in my list? What can I move?
And that makes a really good point because for those of you guys who may be new to Immersive Spirit, Stephanie and I are big into intentional living and traveling on the cycle of the moon.
Okay.
So a lot of this monthly reflection comes right before a new moon. And then in that new moon, we set an intention related to the things that we were working on or the things that we're trying to achieve for ourselves. And we dig down a little bit, like, where is the moon in which house? And
Right. We
yeah, I
go by
mean,
where our
there's
houses are, so
flavors.
it's fine. Yeah, there's definitely some digging there. But yes,
Yeah.
it's very still much about, it's not just that. It's also about, okay, so for example, mine this month is my house. I'm in the seventh house, and when we started the new moon cycle, we were in Capricorn, correct? God, it's only been
In
a week ago.
Capricorn? I don't know.
Sagittarius. We were in Sagittarius.
But
Sagittarius.
oh
I'm like,
yeah, it was
no,
yeah,
no, no,
Sag
no, it
and
was
Sag.
Sagittarius. Sag. So, anyway, all that said, it was for me, seventh house is all about relationships and that type of thing. But I thought about that and I'm like, well, what does that mean? And that's where we dig in, because we do have, again, it's one of our courses and offerings, but we have this broken down so that from your intentional word, then you can break that down a little further. And I was like, relationships, what is it I'm supposed to be doing? And that's when I was like, oh, it's myself. It's my own relationship with myself and with my partner, and making sure that I'm keeping those aligned. It had nothing to do with extra communications in the world and all of those things. And that's how we break it down. But we do that every lunar cycle or every new moon.
Hmm.
And then at full moon, we assess, right? Because again, that's part of our monthly cycle. At the full, it's
Assess and
bi-weekly,
trust.
but assess, trust, release what we're supposed to release into the universe. And then we come back together in the new moon and have workshops with everybody. And we go back through and set intentions one more time.
Yeah, and we typically try to like stay on a path. I happen to have the moon was in my first house this
Oh,
yeah, this time around.
right,
So
right, right. Yeah.
yeah, and it followed well. But anyway, so that's part of our monthly reflection is really doing that like Stephanie was talking about, doing the shadow work and closing all of those things and really processing through to see where we really need to go. And that's why Stephanie had a massage today
Yeah.
as part of her to-do list
That was part of
for her
my
lunar.
Exactly. That's one of those things that
That's
got
awesome.
scheduled from my lunar intentions, because I'm going, okay. And I, we both went. I got
Right,
one
it was a
scheduled for him as
partner
well,
event.
right. Because it was something he needed as well. And that was my way of saying, you need a little love too. And
Yeah,
I need to love you more, and we need to go do this. So yeah, yeah,
yeah. And get involved in your community where you can. You
absolutely.
know, if you can plan that on a monthly basis, like what you're going to do. I made that part of my intentions this month as well. And so I have a community event next Friday.
Nice. That'll work.
Yeah, be off my list.
Yeah.
And I love working in the community. I just never get time. Again, between one, between
Yeah,
two, between, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Once I'm there, I'm good.
Right.
Getting there. And yeah, and I just haven't, it's time.
Yeah.
It is time. But yeah, even going to, I know, like I told you earlier, I found this new sound bowl place here.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to connect with that and find out when they do those, because you and I just had that amazing sound bath, what, a week and a half ago, something like that, from one of our customers.
One of
Gave
our
us a
community
sound.
members. Yeah.
Yeah, gave us a sound bath. It was like, oh,
She did amazing
great.
too. I
It
felt
was
so good.
glorious. I'm thinking, okay, I need to do that more often too. But that's
Yeah.
self-care. And you're involved in the community, and you're giving back to somebody else by supporting their business. I mean, there's just so much going on there.
It's the little things that you don't even think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So try not to exhaust yourself, I guess.
Yep.
And be in all of this, if you're bringing on new rituals or you're trying to figure out how you're going to fit things in to reduce your stress, because you definitely don't want to re-stress.
Right. You don't want to make it worse.
Right. So you have to be flexible and have an ability to adapt. Like Stephanie's mentioned multiple times, if you don't get to it, Okay.
Yep, they'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, it's totally going to be there tomorrow.
Exactly.
Practice a lot of self-love and respect and listen to your body and all the things.
All the things. Yes. And I wasn't always like that. It's as we've rounded into our 50s that that whole wisdom's gone up a notch in terms of, don't care. It'll be there tomorrow. I'm going to bed. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes I really should finish what I've got started, but I'm owning it. So,
I that always reminds me when I remind myself how old I am. What would you share with your younger self, or what do you wish someone would have shared with you?
ugh,
And it's like, if I would go back, that it really, none of the stuff you're chasing matters.
nope,
Like you spend 20 years chasing the relationship, chasing like all of these success pillars that have been created by society that when you hit 50, no one even cares about.
nope. No one gives a shit. And the thing is, if they're supposed to happen to you in that time, they will. Naturally, you
Right.
have to let it evolve. Chase, 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 and you get what you pay for, right? You end up with
Mhm.
divorce and a bad job that you hate and whatever else. So,
Well,
yeah.
and there are people who chase, 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 and that's like their dream and goal. And so then they're working towards their goal.
Yeah.
But I don't think we know what goals are when we're young. Even though they're
Oh,
like, what's your 5 year, 10 year? Well, are you asking me what I'm passionate about or what society has told me my goal should be?
right.
You
Right.
know? And that's what I would tell my younger self.
Yeah, I would tell myself, yes, I very much the same thing. If I could talk to me in my 20s, the first thing is my usual mantra of other people's opinions and none of your effing business. Because 20s, 30s, even into 40s, you worry so much about what the Joneses are doing and what your friends are doing and all these things
And what they think of your hair color and what they think of your clothes
and
and
what a
how much you
gigantic
weigh and
waste of time because the fact is
totally.
they're all thinking about the same thing about themselves. They could give a
Right.
crap what you're doing. What a waste of time. There's that. And then the other would be, well, we just stayed out of the broom closet from that point on. There'd have never been
Yeah,
another.
we would have never hemmed and hawed about it.
Nope, nope. Be true to yourself. Be
Yeah.
authentic. I think that would be the other one. And it might have scared a lot more people at that time, but
It would have scared the right people. I mean,
exactly.
it would have saved a lot of lessons that I really didn't need to have.
Exactly. Yeah, there would have been a few less growing pains, I think, along the way. Yeah.
Right.
Different growing pains. Let's put it
For
that way.
sure. What's
Yeah.
on your path is on your path and it's going to be on your path.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Sweet. I think we have covered tips. What are we missing? We gave some
I
takeaways.
don't know. We've gone on so many different directions. I hope that we
We
got
have.
across something that's going to be valuable to somebody.
Me too. Me too. The main focus here, folks, is just, yeah, holiday season, your job, anything. It doesn't matter. We know life can be stressful. But take
Mhm.
away some moments for yourself and get anything, any of the tools that we've provided here. And of course, you're welcome. Go out and look around. There's lots of different tools that you can embrace to help relieve your stress. And um, yeah, I
Take
think
care of you.
take care of you. I agree. I think that's perfect. Yeah. And wrap it up there. Anything
Yeah,
else?
go ahead.
All
No, I
right.
think that's good.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for joining High Heels to Happy Feels from Immersive Spirit. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Natalie.
And please make sure to go to our website, immersivespirit.com. All of our links, if you're not following us on YouTube and Instagram and now Blue Sky, if you guys aren't out on Blue Sky, check it out. It's pretty awesome. Facebook, all those good things, they'll be there. We do have our lunar journal that we've mentioned a few times for manifestation. We've got the Sabbats in there for each season. It's a quarterly journal, but if you go to our products page, you'll see some more details about it there and some images. But it's an easy tool. And you can download it for $15. It's easy peasy. If you don't, we've got a print option available there too, but go check it out.
Which is beautiful, I might add. And
Oh,
you guys should also comment about how you de-stress.
yes, would love to know how do you de-stress. I think
Yeah.
that's a great
We
point.
always can share tips and be community and help each other out.
Yep. Feel free to just reference it on whichever of the socials you're on, or email us at info@immersivespirit.com. We're always happy to hear from you. And I think with that, we'll wrap it up until next week and have a great evening, everybody, or rest of your
Bye.
day. Thanks.